Welcome everybody to CTM Sports, where we talk about sports from an outside the box perspective, and we're about to get right into it. Watching the Olympics, big fuss about it right now. Jason Tatum was benched the whole game during the Serbia game with the Olympic team. The question is, was Steve Kerr out of pocket for not bringing him off the bench or putting him in the game at all? Was he out of pocket for that? Let me know in the comments. Was he out of pocket for that? Or when you play in the Olympics, you got to understand there is no guarantees. No guarantees.
I'm not really sure if I can.
So you got to realize that. So some people say he struggled a little bit in the trials, which I don't think he did. I think he played pretty solid. And another thing is when you have a bunch of the top players on the team, you got LeBron, you got Stephen Curry. It's hard to make an excuse for Steve Kerr. I'm gonna be honest. It's really hard because he should have found a way to play Jason Tatum. If he can play Derrick Brown, why couldn't he play Jason Tatum? Okay, they put LeBron and Durant at the shooting forward. I get it, but he could have put him in at two guard. He could have moved LeBron up the power forward and played Tatum. So many ways he can do that lineup. And I'm wondering sometimes with Steve Kerr, like I say, was he inherited? Did he inherit that team or did he coach that team? It's like giving somebody a race car. It's already built. All you got to do is win the race at this point. But, hey, I defer on that. Let me know in the comments what you think. Was Steve Kerr out of pocket for not playing Jason Tatum? Or when you play on the Olympics, it's no guarantees. You got to realize that too. No guarantees.
I'm not really sure if I can.
That don't mean you're going to get minutes just because you're the best player. It's all about matchups and lineups. And it's all about the coaching mentality. I think Coach K, but Coach K a dookie. He a dookie too. He would have found a way to put him in. I don't know, man. Steve Kerr, man. I don't know, man. He kind of keep putting himself out there in the wrong way. And when you're losing, things are magnified when you're losing. So, but let me know what you think in the comments. So, moving to our next topic. Jaylen Brown claps back at Grant Hill. Said he clapped back at him. Called Grant Hill a. He's quoted by saying, Grant Hill, somebody asked him about Jaylen Brown again. He said, I don't want to get involved and talk about that conspiracy theory stuff. But Brown was quoted on a tweet, I think. He said, Grant Hill calling me a conspiracy theorist is disappointing. I've been a VP since I was 21. I have great understanding. Sound like to me, he sent some shots his way. And he's telling Grant Hill, he been around the world. I ain't going for that. And he pretty much flushed Grant Hill. He flushed him. But, like we talked about on, I think on a couple podcasts ago, politics, even though we don't like it, even though it sucks, it exists. And for every reaction, there's an action and consequence. Whether you agree with it or not, it's there. Um, Most people are like, I'm probably in that category too. I don't too much care for it, don't like politics, but you got to understand how the game is played at the same time. You can either understand how the game is played and play with counter and defensive tactics. Hope I said the right tactics. Or you can keep finding yourself in missed opportunities and out of position because this political game, a sentence, sometimes one word can change everything. So, with him calling out Nike on Twitter, they could have affected everything. A tweet, typing a sentence, hitting send, and a tweet can affect you years later. But let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think that Jaylen Brown was slighted by Nike because of what he tweeted or because he's not a Nike athlete? Or do you think it was some other politics that we probably don't know about? I don't know. Because Nike run that team. Grant Hill is not even a Nike guy. He was a feeler guy. So I'll let you know about that. He had the feelers and stuff. It was pretty cool, but man, shout out to Jaylen Brown, man. Really good player, man. I just unfortunately, man, sometimes no matter how good you are, no matter how talented you are, politics, man, woo, it can be treacherous, man. 100% can be treacherous.
You want answers. I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
And when you get to that point with politics, you just got to understand how the game is played.
Blade, ready to die.
Or you got to be ready to fall on that sword. So, our next topic is, can Dak Prescott get the new deal done with the Cowboys? Or do the Cowboys want to get the new deal done with Dak Prescott? Sound like they kind of stalling out. But the thing to think about, the longer they wait, the more they're going to have to pay, the more it's going to cost. Quarterbacks out here getting these $200 million deals, becoming the highest paid quarterback. First it was old boy from the Jaguars. Then it was Tua. Now it's Jordan Love. I think he got like $220 million, $75 million guaranteed. I think 150 in incentives and guarantees or something like that. Guess what? Dak's going to be somewhere in that ballpark or above. That's why as owners and teams, you have to be strategic in signing people before this stuff comes down the pipe. Cincinnati went ahead and took care of it. The Chiefs went ahead and took care of it. I don't know if they're going to redo his deal, but they signed him to a major deal, but they beat the curve of paying, $75 million guaranteed, $200 million. And a lot of teams, if they're smart teams, they try to get these deals done before it start climbing up, because it's going to climb up even more. It's going to happen. You're probably going to have a $500 million quarterback, probably another 5 or 10 years, making $500 million. So be on the lookout for that, man. Shout out to them. But Jerry Jones keep playing these subliminal games like he Jay-Z. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I can endorse him yet. We kind of got to wait. And all he doing is just making the price go up. And what's going to happen is they're going to wait till it's too late. He's not going to renegotiate. He's going to go into free agency. I don't think they won't let that happen by attrition, because if you let him go and lose him to free agency, you lost a lot. And you pretty much have to start over. Your team over. So let me know in the comments, do you think Jerry Jones is going to pay Dak Prescott? Or do you think he's going to let him walk into free agency and not get nothing back for him? Because I don't think you could trade him because his salary's so big. I think he's still under, I don't know if he's in the last year or the franchise tag, but I think most people, teams will wait till he go into free agency, though, instead of trading, instead of giving up draft picks and stuff. But let me know what you think.
It's always business. Never personal.
So, going outside the box, Carmelo Anthony talks about on a podcast, I think it was his podcast, with he was saying how he turned down the LeBron Big Four idea that they was doing in Miami. I seen a little bit of that, little pieces of it. He said that when LeBron first brought it to his attention, they was talking about doing like the 3-year deals and stuff like that. He couldn't grasp the concept. He asked his agents about it. He said he couldn't grasp the concept because he felt like he was leaving money on the table. and him being an alpha male in his own right, he didn't want to go there and be the fourth option. He didn't want to sacrifice. He wanted to be his own man. Can't do nothing but respect it. I mean, that's what he did. He was his own man in New York. He went from Denver to New York, from New York to I think the Thunder to the Blazers, then the Blazers to the Lakers. I think he retired after that. But listen, man, would he have worked in Miami? I think he would have. But like you said, his mentality. He was a young bull, man. He said it. I mean, he was a young alpha male in his own right. Melo was his own man, and it sounded like he just didn't want to get. He didn't want to be down like that. He just, it's a lot to sacrifice your prime years to be a fourth option to win a championship, and to sacrifice money because all four of them on the same team, everybody's not gonna get the same amount of money. And a lot of people say it's not about the money. Well, you're not looking at NBA numbers and NBA contracts like that. Because if you did, you probably wouldn't turn down a long-term deal with, $100 million contracts and stuff like that. You're not going to do it unless you know you're going to make it later. And in the NBA, you never know how your body reacts. You never know about injuries, things like that. And with that being said, you got to understand that there is no guarantee. There's no guarantees you're going to get that money back.
I'm not really sure if
You may cut that 5-year deal to a 3-year deal, but you may have sacrificed another 20 to 50 million. And you go to Miami and, what? You only win 2 championships. Is that worth 50 million to you? Some people it is, some people it's not. It just depends on your mentality and where you are at that time. Let me know if you would have done it. If you would have sacrificed, money to go play with LeBron and them and be like a big four. Would have been a crazy team, though. I mean, D-Wade at the 1, LeBron at the 2, Melo at the 3, and Bosh at the 4. Man, that would have been crazy. But like I say, not his style. And I get it. Much respect to Melo. I like Melo. But I get what he's saying, though. He didn't want to be that fourth option, and he didn't want to sacrifice money, man. Because it's when you're in the NBA, you don't want to leave no money on the table. You want to make sure that you go and get the bag. Because you're not going to get it back. You're not going to get it back. So you want to make sure you power up. Every time you get the power up, you want to make sure you power up. Because if you don't get that back. You don't have the owner say, well, since you sacrificed 2 years, let me give you 2 years back. It don't work like that.
it's always business, never personal.
So shout out to Carmelo for keeping it real on that point. So here's the regular people topic when you're talking about sports. Is how do you face adversity as a regular person? How do you face adversity? Jason Tatum, he didn't get in the game. He didn't see no minutes against Serbia. Happens to regular people as well. Sometimes you at work, you don't get to shine. You don't get the raise. You don't get the promotion. You get passed over. In life, sometimes you get passed over. You don't fit the perception, or you don't fit the bill of what somebody wants, or you don't get the job. Rejection. Adversity happens to everybody in life. It's just those guys, everything is magnified. So one of the things that I could do, I don't want to be on here all day, but understanding what is in your control and what is not in your control. If you can understand that,
Always business, never personal.
and understand that nothing is guaranteed. So check this out. Let's say if you at a job, right, and you get passed over or you don't get the promotion. I've been there. It happened to me a couple times. All you can do is when you go into a job, is learn and improve your skill set as an individual. That's all you can do. Whether if it's working the help desk, exposing yourself to everything that they allow you to expose yourself to as far as systems, as far as PCs, uh, understanding networks and stuff like that, understanding software, learning those things while on the job instead of just going to work and just going through the motions. You can control what you learn and what you improve on. What you can't control is if somebody chooses to pass you over or if somebody chooses not to give you the promotion because of whatever. You can't control that. What you can control is how you react to it and how you counter defense something of that nature. And like I say, if you increase your skill set and you learn, if they keep passing you over, the market will come find you based on your value and your skill set. I promise you it will. But if you don't increase your skill set, you don't increase your value, if you get comfortable in the job, it will be hard for you to become a free agent and be on the market because it was almost like you kind of hid yourself from the market and you got kind of complacent. That's why it's never good to be complacent. When you look in sports, the players who get the bag are the players who have the high skill set. Football, the higher the skill set, the more you're going to get paid. It's all about skill set, politics playing into it as well, PR, public relations, your image plays into it as well. All of those things, even in the regular world, skill set, your image, I say SCCM, skill set, education, communication, mindset. Those four things, if you can increase those as you're growing up, as you're maturing and growing, the money will come. But you have to increase those four things. Skill set, education, communication, mindset. You got to increase those four things. If you do that and endure adversity, sometimes you can't control the adversity that comes your way, but you can control how you face it and how you endure it. Don't let adversity make you do uncharacteristic things, kind of like in the NBA, how some people, they under pressure, they kind of get edgy, they kind of get chippy. Don't allow it. Stay calm under all circumstances, as calm as you can. That will set you apart from a lot of people. Is having ice water in your veins, staying calm. Sometimes you got to walk away, let it go. It's not worth it. But let me know what you think. Because I understand it. I had to learn that as a young man. There is no guarantee. Nothing is guaranteed. Sometimes you only kill what you eat. You only eat what you kill. You only get what you go get. Nobody's going to give anything to you. You have to go get it. With your skill set, your education, communication, and mindset, you got to go get it. And sometimes you're going to have to go get it through adversity. So think about that. So we're going to go into our pick one. Pick one. Larry Hughes or Jerry Stackhouse? Larry Hughes or Jerry Stackhouse? Both kind of similar players or wing players. Both were athletic guys. Stackhouse went to North Carolina. Larry Hughes played for St. Louis. They both kind of played for different teams in the league. If I had to pick one, I'm probably going to go with Stackhouse. Stackhouse, a little bit more athletic than Larry Hughes and a little bit more durable. I think Larry Hughes' injuries kind of really hampered his career. But Stackhouse, not only could he shoot, he would dunk on you in a heartbeat. And he had a solid game. Stackhouse had a solid game, man. He really did. He had a solid game. Played on some awesome teams, but never could win the championship because of the teams he played on. But I'm going Stackhouse, so let me know who you going with. I'm going Stackhouse all day. I like Larry Hughes, too. Especially when he played with Gilbert Arenas. That was a good backcourt, but I'm going Jerry Stackhouse. So, our next one. Oh, why I did that? That's the wrong names. I'm sorry. Derek Coleman or Horace Grant? Who you got? Derek Coleman or Horace Grant? I like Horace Grant. I thought he was really good, especially when he played in Chicago. But I'm going with Derek Coleman. Derek Coleman was about that life. He was left-handed, number one, to be that big left-handed, could shoot, would dunk on you, would just bang on you down in the post. He just didn't play for great teams, but he played great, though. I think one of the only dudes to dunk on Shaq. And even Shaq said that Derek Coleman gave him the business. So you know that means something when he say that. But Derek Coleman, man, was giving dudes the business when he played for the Nets. I couldn't find a lot of pictures of him with the Nets. That's why I got this picture. But Derek Coleman was that dude, though. Horace Grant was that dude, too. But Derek Coleman was that dude. He was about that life. And nobody didn't mess with Derek Coleman. He was about that life. He'll put them hands on you real fast. So let me know who you rolling with. I'm going with Derek Coleman. So with that being said, make sure to go back and watch this. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you watch Think Game Podcast on Thursdays, like around 5 or 6 when we get off work. Make sure to check out the CTM TV channel at YouTube. Make sure that you keep watching on Facebook. Make sure to keep watching on TikTok and Twitter. Just help us grow. We're not asking for money. We're just asking for your subscription. Help us grow. Help us get to the bag so we can invest and make more content. This is Mike. I'm signing out. Thanks for watching.